Dunning now. You know what is the dunning? For those who don't know what is a dunning, dunning is just a reminder letter that we send to our customers to remind them about the outstanding invoices that they need to make the payment. Okay, so just consider this as a reminder letter. SAP provides an automatic way to send out the reminder letters. It is called dunning. Firstly, let us see how we can set up a dunning. In order for you to use dunning features, firstly you need to set up the dunning procedure first. Okay, the dunning procedure is over here. Business transactions, dunning here. Okay. Alright, here. So the flowchart goes like this. Let me draw it for you. Okay, this is what you have to do. Firstly, define the dunning procedure and assign it to the customer master data, and after that we can run the dunning program to generate the dunning notices. Let us do this first now. We go to dunning procedure, create a new dunning procedure for sun, just name it as sun dunning procedure. Okay, dunning intervals and days. This means that let me just save this. You need to give some intervals in between the dunnings, because normally what will happen is that we send several reminder letters, not only once, because on the first time when you send a reminder letter, the customer may or may not pay. So if he pays, then we don't send any more dunning letters, but if he doesn't pay, then we need to send another reminder letter. So this is what we call dunning intervals or dunning levels. Let me just create three levels of dunning. Level 1, this is called level 1, and level 2 and level 3. Let's assume that we have 3 levels of dunnings. Level meaning is that we will be sending 3 reminder letters to the customer, after which at this stage here, after the 3rd reminder letter, we'll proceed with legal. Okay, we'll just pass the account to the legal department to take further actions to recover the payment. So your lawyers will file a case in the court against the customer to recover the invoice amount. Legal action. So I just put it here. So if you define 3 levels, 3 dunning levels, this means that each corresponds to a single dunning reminder letter. Okay, after sending 3 reminder letters, we won't send any more reminder letters, we just proceed with the legal action. So we need to give some intervals in terms of days for each of these levels. For example, after 10 days only you will issue the 2nd reminder letter, so that will come under level 2, and after 10 days after the 2nd reminder letter you will issue the 3rd reminder letter. Alright, so let's assume that there is an interval of 10 days in between the dunning reminders. 3 levels. Number of dunning levels is 3, because we will be sending 3 reminder letters. If you have 4 reminder letters, then you can just mention here 4. But in this case, let's stick to 3. This is normally not used. You can just leave it blank. But let me just show you what is this. This is more useful for the European countries like Germany. Okay, so this field is used for Germany. Minimum days in arrears. Okay, What this means is that let's say you don't want to done any what do you call the invoices which is not very much outstanding. Say for example you have 3 invoices. Invoice 1, arrears is 10 days, and invoice 2, arrears is 20 days, and invoice 3 is 30 days. So using that field just now, you can actually determine that you don't want to send a reminder letter if it's only due by 10 days, because you don't want to be fussy to your customer. You want to send the letter, the first letter under level 1 only after 20 days. So what you have to do is come here and enter 20 days. So the system will not generate a dunning notice if the invoice is only 10 days overdue. This is 10 days overdue. On the other hand, if you want to be very fussy, you want to send out a reminder letter after 4 days due date, 4 days of due, you just enter 4 days here. Okay, let me just enter 4 days here. Okay, so if the invoice is only due by 3 days, then it will not be included in the dunning notice. There will be no dunning notice for that particular invoice. Okay, this one is the grace period which you want to give. This is something like this also, but this is called grace period. That means if you want to give some extra time period for the customer to pay, which you can just enter a day here, so that will be added. For example, if this is 10, that means I want to done as long as it's let me just give an example. Let me just show you the help so they can read this. And grace periods per line item which are taken into consideration during determination of the due date of the dunning run. Okay, this means that if I mention 10 days here, this, and I mention grace period of 3, this invoice here supposed to be included in the dunning notice based on these 10 days, but since you have mentioned 3 days here grace period, so it will not be included until it becomes overdue by another 3 days, which is 13 days altogether. So this invoice will be included in the dunning notice only after due by 13 days, because this plus the grace period becomes 13. So I'm not going to enter any grace period. You may or may not use this field, but this field is quite important, and that's about it. And you have to click this. You can ignore this too. This is to calculate the interest charged, and this one is the standard transaction during dunning, because you want to done all the normal transaction which is not special GL. So you have to tick this, and then this one is quite important, because remember the dunning notice has to be in a report format, right? It should be in a reminder format. So the report has to be attached to this dunning procedure, only then you can print the dunning notice. So we use a reference dunning procedure. I'll tell you why I'm choosing 001 later, because this dunning procedure has been assigned with the dunning format. So instead of creating a separate dunning report format, we can just make use of the one that is already attached to this dunning procedure. I'll show you how the dunning format looks like later. Just bear with it. So one more thing that you can do is that you can go to dunning levels. You say in the 4 dunning levels, yep, days in areas. Okay, let me just change this to changes to 4 and then go to dunning levels. So days in arrears is number of days in arrears for the invoice item to become dunning level 1, dunning level 2, dunning level 3. For dunning level 2, to send the second reminder letter, the invoice item has to be overdue by 10 days. Okay. In order to send the third reminder letter, the days in arrears has to be 20 days. I mean, invoice must be overdue by 20 days. Let me just show you one more thing. Okay. Dunning interval in 10 days, right? If I put 2 days grace period, see how it changes. Let's see. Dunning intervals. So there will be no change. It will be 10 and 20 days also. Okay. So now if you increase this to 4 levels, see here 4 levels here. Okay. If you have 5 levels, that means you will be sending 5 reminder letters. You see, you have 5 intervals and days in arrears, 10, 20 and so forth, because you have a dunning interval of 10 days. Okay. Okay, let me just change it to 3 because 3 is good enough for us. Minimum number of days is 10. So this dunning level, we can determine further settings like how many days it should be overdue for each reminder letters to be sent. Now it is like once it's become overdue, the first reminder letter will be sent. After 10 days overdue, second reminder letters will be sent. You can even change this. Okay, you can even change this to have 15 days overdue. If we change this to 15 days overdue, only after the 15th day of overdue the second reminder letter will be sent. Okay, in this case I'm not going to change this. Minimum amounts is also good, because sometimes, let me just enter USD, you don't want to done very little outstanding amounts like 50 cents or $2 or $3. So you can actually put a dunning level here, 1, 2 and 3, and it mentioned that minimum amount to be done is must be greater than $10. We put here $10 here. That means any invoice which is outstanding for only $10 will not be done. $10 or less. If it's outstanding by $5, it will not be, the system will not send a dunning notice to that invoice, because it is really not worthy to send dunning notice for very meager amount like few cents or few dollars, because the cost of printing a notice and sending out is more than the actual outstanding amount. So you can maintain a minimum amount here, or minimum in terms of percentage. You can even enter percentage. Alright, if you enter a percentage, it will be measured against the see this minimum percentage is multiplied by the total of all open items on a particular account. Okay, if let's say the total outstanding amount for that account is 1000, and the outstanding amount is only about 10% of the total amount, which comes to $100. So only if the overdue amount is more than $100, it will be done. If it's less than $100, it will not be done. That's provided you enter a percentage here, 10%, something like this. Okay, normally we will use the minimum amount only, we will not use the percentage. And you can define it for separately for each dunning level. Okay, so this is second reminder, right? You can say that for second reminder you done only if the outstanding amount is greater than $20. So I'm not going to use any of this. I just skip it. Let me just check whether it's cleared. Oh, it's not cleared. Let me clear it manually then. Okay. Alright, you know what to do. And one more thing is about the charges. So if you have any charges, you need to enter the currency. Here I enter USD. If there are any charges to be paid by the customer, you can enter it here, like as postages. The postage of sending the dunning notice should be charged to the customer. Just enter $2. Or this is the dunning amount range, 1000 more. This means that if the dunning amount is 1000 up to 1000, then the dunning charge is $2. Okay. If for higher amount, if you want to charge a higher dunning charge, then you can do this. Let's say for second dunning level, let's say is 10,000 over, then you charge higher amount. This means that on the second dunning, for any dunning amount which is more than 10,000, you charge $5. You can also put the same level here and mention something like this, which means that for the same dunning level 1, if the amount, the done amount, the outstanding invoice amount is more than 5,000, then the dunning charge is $5. So these dunning charges will be printed in the dunning notice, so that the customer knows that they have to pay this dunning charge. Okay, the dunning charge can also be specified in terms of percentage. See this, dunning charge in percent. Alright, if the total dunning amount is 10,000, if you mention 5%, then the customer has to pay 5% of the total dunning amount, which is $50. Alright, now let me clear this off, because I'm not going to use any dunning charges. You can try it out yourself. I've explained about charges, dunning level, minimum amounts. Dunning tax is nothing to do with dunning tax. Okay, special GL indicator is only if you want to turn special GL transactions. Normally it won't happen. Let me see if there's anything else I need to explain to you. Okay, yeah, company code data. This one, let me go here. See, there's one thing you need to understand is that the dunning procedure that you are setting is at the client level. So you don't have, so this means that all the company codes under this client 800 here, will be able to use this dunning procedure. So you don't have to assign a dunning procedure specifically to each and every company code. Once you define a dunning procedure here, it's available for all the company codes. But you can go to the company code data and specify some company code specific settings. For example, you can you have this kind of thing, these settings, the sort variant and so forth. Normally we will never use this, so just ignore this, because just sorting methods. Okay, let us go to Sun company code. See, the Sun company code is over here. Alright, okay, you see these two settings for Sun is not really very important. You can just take it. I don't want to go to details of it because it will confuse you, but just remember to clear this reference company code, because we're going to copy the form names, the report format that's going to be used for the dunning notices based on the dunning procedure 0001. So we are not going to use a company specific dunning notice, so you can just clear it. Yes, save. You see this 0001, this is the dunning procedure which is going to be used to determine the form names. Instead of, let me just save this, and when show you some first. Okay, you see this, we have defined the dunning procedure. Now we need to assign a form name to the dunning procedure, otherwise you cannot print the dunning notice. The form name is the one which is going to determine the format of the dunning. So go here and select this and double click this, just enter Sun, our company code. You see this, you have these forms here. These are the forms. Let me just go into this. You can't go into by double clicking, you have to click this. So you need to select. Okay, now you can go. See, this is the format of the report. You can go to the pages. See, it's very technical, only the abapers can understand this. I'm just trying to show you how the format looks like. Okay, don't worry about this. If you cannot understand, then just leave it, because only the abaper can understand. So but what I'm trying to say here is this system is using some default dunning notice format which is delivered by SAP, and it is assigned to the dunning procedure 0001. So what we are going to do is, we are not going to specify the same form again for Sun procedure. We are just going to use it, copy it and use it, or not to say copy, just make reference to that form name. So that's why we are entering 0001 here. Okay, one more thing, let me just show you side by side. Dunning notice, let me go to dunning notice. Business transaction, dunning procedures, printout, assign forms. Yes, log data. Okay, see this, I'm going to 0001, right? So it is showing all the forms here. So this is the 0001 dunning procedure which we want to make reference here for our dunning procedure, so that we don't have to define separate forms. We can just make use of what has been assigned to 0001. Now come back. So that is done. The forms are attached to dunning procedure Sun by making reference to existing dunning procedure 0001, and we are done. So let us go to our slide. We have done this. Okay, now the next thing is to assign the dunning procedure to the customer. Let's do it now. Let's go to, sorry, not here, here, go to FD02. I'm going to assign it to the customer C. It's over here under company code. It's not in the general data. You won't be in the general data. You have to go to company quota. Just put here London. Okay, just go to company code data, correspondence. You see, this is the field where you have to link the dunning procedure to your customer master. You're done. Okay, just ignore all these things. All are dunning related, but don't get confused about it. Just learn the straight method first. Okay, save it. Okay, it is saved now. Let me just, oops, sorry, I just want to post a invoice first, B70 for this customer, so that we can make sure that there is a outstanding invoice. Invoice date is this and amount is 500. Post it to sales account. It should be this. Just enter. Need to make sure something go to payment. I want to make sure that it's due immediate. so I need to clear this first. Let me just quit B70. Let me clear this first. Okay, so that I don't have to enter any taxes. Go to copy this, paste here, enter the amount 500. GL account, sales 500. Now let's go to payment. Okay, it's due immediate because I haven't attached any payment terms for this customer, so it will become due immediate. Okay, save it, press enter. Alright, it's posted now. Let me run a dunning notice. It's under here, account receivable, periodic processing, dunning, accounting, financial accounting, account receivable, periodic processing, dunning. Just double click. Okay, here let me just tell you, it will be blank initially because I was trying just now. Alright, always you have to enter the current date here. Recommended to enter current date, but you can actually enter anything else. Okay, it's a freely definable field, but it's advisable to enter the current date. Let's enter the current date so that you can keep track of the dunning notices that you have run. Identification is again a freely definable field. You can enter anything. I'm going to enter 2. Okay. Now this means that on this date, this is the second time I'm running a dunning notice, because already entered already run dunning notice just now, so that's why it was used under 1. So now I'm going to enter 2. So the next time you want to run a dunning notice again, you just enter 3. Okay, go to parameters. Initially this will be blank. Let me just show you. It will be blank like this. So what is dunning date? Dunning date is the key date, which means that when you are running the dunning, so this date will be used to calculate the due date of the outstanding invoices. Okay, this will be the base date which will be used to calculate the outstanding invoices. So just enter the current date. So it will determine which are the invoices outstanding and the days in arrears based on this date. Document posted up to is that actually the date up to which you want to include the documents posted into the dunning calculation. Let's say if you don't want to include any documents posted before a certain date, then you can enter that date here. But I want to include all the documents which are posted up to today. This is okay. Now it's the system date is already 2nd of May, so you can actually change it to 2nd of May. Even if you don't change it, it doesn't really matter. It's a freely definable tax. This date does not have any control on anything, but these 2 dates are very important. This means that any documents which are posted after this date will not be included in the dunning notice. If you have document posted on the 3rd of May, that will not be included because I have entered here 2nd of May. This date is used to calculate the due days, the days in arrears. Okay, the days in arrears will be calculated in relation to this date. Now company code you need to enter Sun, and if you leave this blank, all the customers will be included in the dunning notice calculation. But I want to limit it to 1 customer so that it can run faster. I use this to filter. Okay, now let's ignore this free selection additional lock. Free selection is that you can just select a field name. I don't want to confuse this first, just leave it as it is. I'm going to use this. These are the minimum parameters that we need to enter, so we just save this. Saved. Okay, now we can run it. Go to status, run, choose printer, continue. You just press start immediately. Schedule. Schedules. The schedule ready, right? You have to keep pressing this refresh. When you refresh, it's completed. Okay, you see the message completed. If not, each time you refresh, you will say that it's running. So at one point when you refresh, you'll say complete. So that's the time we know that it's completed. After it's completed, just press this dunning list and click OK, and you can see the document, which is what do you call that, which will be printed in the dunning notice. The document that I entered just now is not. Oh, okay, I know why. Because the parameter that I enter here, see, that's why it's not including the document, the $500 document that I entered, posted just now. Let me just delete the parameters. I want to run the dunning notice again. I want to change this dunning date. Okay, delete the dunning run. In order to run the dunning notice again, just come here, delete the running run. Yes, you want to delete it. Now you go to parameters again, change this to 20, so that the document that I entered just now will become overdue. Because currently I entered the document on 2nd of May, right? It has not become overdue because the key date here I entered is 2nd of May. So if I enter like this, the key date is 20th May, the document that I posted just now will become overdue. Save the parameters. Now I run it again. This is a good example that we know that how the system will select the documents. Okay, now it's finished again. Let me check whether that's 500. Yeah, the 500 is included now. There, you see this days in arrears after net due date. So the date, the dunning date plays a very important role in order to determine the days in arrears. If you enter 2nd of May, of course this document will not become overdue by 2nd of May because I just entered it. But if you enter 20th of May, then this document will become overdue, because in relation to 20th of May, this document obviously overdue by 18 days. Alright, you know how it calculates. Let me just open up. Let me see. I don't want to close that. I don't want to close this too. Okay, let me just go to FB03. Yes, the document that we posted just now, right? The $500. Okay, let me just show you the baseline date. Okay, baseline date cannot be seen here. You have to go here. Alright, the baseline date 2nd of May. If you look at the dunning date that I entered, is 20th of May, right? So 20th of May minus 2nd of May is 18 days overdue. Because since there is no payment terms, I have not entered any payment terms for this customer, it becomes due immediate. So I didn't give any grace period for them to settle the invoice because I didn't enter the payment terms. So the system will assume that it becomes due immediate. It becomes due on the date you post this document. Okay, but until 20th of May he did not settle the document, this amount, so it becomes overdue by 18 days. So therefore it's included in the dunning notice. So let's see how to print this dunning notice now. We don't go to dunning printout, because once you do dunning printout you cannot, that's it, that's the end of the dunning notice. You cannot simulate it again, you cannot print it again. So if you want to simulate the dunning format first to see how the dunning format looks like, you use a sample printout. Okay, let me show you this. If you don't see any entries here in the dunning list, you need to come here and check the log. Then if there's any errors, it will show the errors here. So from there you'll know what the error about. Dunning printout, or go to sample printout. Okay, before we print the sample printout, let me just show you something. This Dunning is still under the proposal stage. That means you can change. If we click this, you get this screen and you just run it and you get all the Dunning notices, right? You just put this check mark here, then you press this. That means you can actually exclude certain documents from being printed in the Dunning notice. You can exclude at the customer account level. Means you put a block here. See the block? Just choose any block here. Your blocking reason. You put a block here like something like this. The blocking reason is manual block due to a telephone payment advice. This means that the customer has just called you and said that he is going to make you a payment. So you just block this. You want to exclude this customer from the Dunning notice. Normally, if you select all the customers will be listed here. So you can exclude by the customer, or if not, you can exclude by the customer's document. We have two documents here, right? We just have to put a block here. Alright, on the third field here. Dunning block. This is old Dunning level, this is a new Dunning level, current Dunning level. This is the first payment notice we are sending, right? That's why it's 1 year. You can put a block at the item level, no problem. That means if you save this now, this document will now be printed in the Dunning notice. But I don't want to do that. I want all to be printed. I just cancel. You can also change the Dunning procedure as a master data level. That's why they have this. Alright, change text is something very complex. I don't want to confuse you, just ignore that. So change the text of the Dunning form. Normally we won't do that. We will use only this. Okay, you can do that, but I'm not going to change anything. So I'm going to go for sample printout. Output device, set a printer, continue and print. Make sure this is ticked. Start immediately. Print. Schedule successfully. Refresh. Complete. Make sure this is complete. Then you go to SP01. Okay, there's a spool. All the print jobs will be spooled here. SP01. Let's execute. You see this? Just now I executed this. This is the latest one. This is ours. You click this. You see this? This is how the Dunning notice will look like. We are using the standard form which is delivered by SAP. You can change this if you want to. Dear Sir, Madam, the invoices listed below are due for payment. If you have paid the amount due in intervening period, please disregard this letter. And the two items will be listed here with the days in arrears and the Dunning level. First, total items due 1002, balance of account 1002. Very simple. Yours sincerely. You know where this format is taken from? Let me show you again. Over here. This form here. Let's go to 001. Sun. Here. First Dunning level is we'll use this format. If you want to see what's the format like, go here, select it, go here. So you just have to, if you want to change something, you just have to copy this and give to your ABAPer and ask him to change the format to whatever format you want. If you want to put a company logo, just proceed to do so. So the second Dunning level use a different form, which is this. Oh, it's the same thing. Right, it's the same thing. Only the third level, a different format is used. Okay. For legal Dunning notice, there is a different procedure altogether. A different format will be used. Let me just check. Okay. Right, let me just check if there's anything else I need to show you. Right, dunning. So once the sample printout is completed, you can go for the actual printout, dunning printout. Once you have printed the dunning, you cannot print it again. Okay, that's why I always use the sample printout, just to make sure that the format is all correct. Then only I print the dunning, final dunning printout. Okay, you can delete the proposal at this level if you want to. Dunning printout is not. Let us go to for dunning printout. It's the same thing. Choose the output device, start immediate. That's it. Dunning printout is scheduled. Refresh. Completed. We go to SP01. Refresh. You get that one more job. This is the final printout. So after this, you cannot print. See, the dunning printout letter is no longer there. So, but you can actually sample printout again. After you print the dunning printout, it's no longer in a proposal stage, so you can't even delete the dunning run. That's the difference. Okay, so this is no longer in a proposal mode. If it's in a proposal mode, you can always delete it in delete dunning run. So one more thing, one more important thing I need to tell you is that once you print the dunning printout, that's a final dunning printout, right? Then the master data will be updated too. Okay, let me show you that. Go to FD03, go to this one. See, this 2 was blank just now, right? When I entered the dunning procedure, it was blank. After you run the dunning printout, then these 2 fields will be updated with the last done, which is the 20th May, and the dunning level of 1. So you have, after you seeing this, you know that you have sent out the first reminder already. Okay, the last done is 20th May. It's taking this date here. Okay, not the current date, the dunning date. That date is updated in the customer master. So when you do the sample printout, if you are just doing the sample printout, not the dunning printout, these fields will not be updated. It will be updated only when you do the dunning printout, means the actual printout. Okay, all good. That's about it.